What is up, guys? Wraith here, Gray Bearded Gaming Society. We are back on our little dude trapped in here, and we're trying something a little bit different this time. So we've done plenty of Crush Bone, we've done some Unrest, and we've done some of the local dungeons that we could do. We ran across and we're pretty much by ourselves. The Black Roach kind of sucked. We've tried a couple of stray spots, kind of in and around the island. We made our little adventure out to the chessboard and almost kicked the bucket. And I also remembered, tucked away in the little corner here of the SteamFont Mountains, actually really near the zone line, is a small group of Minotaur slavers. Now these guys, I've been poking around at them a little bit. They're all going to come in at blue to us. They can still hit decently hard, so I mean obviously we still have to pay attention to what we're doing, but we can pull them relatively easily at a distance with our little bow. They actually drop the Minotaur battle axe, the same axe that we have been using since one we were able to pick up pretty cheap when we were a little bit smaller. And these things can sell for, I want to say it's 2.5, 3 plat a piece. We wouldn't be able to carry a ton of them. Unfortunately, they're a little bit heavy, but we're also relatively light, so we could run, sell, come back, run, sell, come back. But I think we should be able to handle these guys pretty easily, and I think it'll be kind of a decent change up from what we've kind of been doing. And by that I mean, checking out the dungeons. Of course, we spent quite a bit of time in our last play session just trying to get a group. It wasn't going well. Nobody really needed a tanker type. Most of the groups that were looking, in the chat were always looking for some form of healer, which with just minor heal, obviously we cannot do. And there were a lot of bigger kids, so to speak, who were there ready to go after the basement and things like that. So let's start with this little guy here. I know that the size has nothing to do with these guys, so don't be confused by that in terms of their sheer size. But I think if we pull him, we should be able to pull him safely out, then come back and get that guy who looks like he might be holding an axe now, so he might have some plat force in his hands. So let's shoot this guy here. And we want to pull him back, I think, a pretty good distance, just because I know what they will do when you fight them when they get towards the end is they'll just start walking around, and the last thing we want is for this little dude to walk right back into his friends and end up with some friends more than what we can handle. So the one thing I will say is, like, at the end of when we were taking off from Unrest and making our way back across the lake there, Dagnor's Cauldron, very very depressing zone. We came across a little named rat, Flotsam, and there's another one I believe named Jetsam. And he dropped this item for us, which is not going to be any good for us directly as a primary, secondary, hold some stats. We might be able to sell this thing, maybe for a little bit of plat, or, if we decide to ever make an enchanter, maybe directly just on the, not as part of the challenge, but just make the character on the server. Maybe we can hand them over. We'll see what we do there. I don't really know what they sell for. I mean, based on the fact that I got it from a rat who was smaller than me, I don't imagine it's anything too spectacular. Come on. So we were actually doing pretty good on these guys last time. Another thing that we did do, just to kind of help us out a little bit, was we went and spent pretty much all of the rest of our training points at the Paladin Guild in Felwith, just to get better at using this big hammer, because this thing is pretty nice. We can hit pretty hard with it. Come on. Just he's not even looking. Just hit him in the back. Pretend you're rogue for just a second. Little Paladin, there we go. So like I said, these guys can, they drop random assortments of smaller amounts of coin. They can drop random gems. You can typically see when they have the battle axes, and they also drop Minotaur horns, which are a barred instrument. They don't really sell for a whole lot, but they don't really weigh anything either. So we'll kind of see what we do in that regard. But I think it's just a nice change of pace. We can sit out here and kind of take this camp. And we probably honestly won't even at this level be able to take all four, probably just the first two, because we beat one up. We take a little bit of a beating ourselves, but then we heal back up, we sit down, we meditate, we pull his friend, and about the time we're done with him, the other guy will be up. So we're still getting pretty consistent kills, which is not too bad, especially, again, we kind of discussed last time what makes some certain kinds of characters a little bit more difficult, as they just don't really solo well without really serious twink gear. And I'm happy with the items that we have here on Trafton, but they are by no means overpowered for his size. Being able to hit things pretty good with this hammer might be the way to go for a while. And then when we finally get 15, I know one of the spells is actually the ability to summon a magical hammer, which might open up doing some things for us that was giving us some trouble as far as Sword and Borden. We ran into a ghoul that gave us some trouble because we couldn't hit him right, and of course Will-O-Wisp and things like that that have to be hit with magic. But like I said, we've been fighting those guys, and we do that, and we sit down, and we meditate back up, and we kind of rotate on the first two, which I remember this camp from a very, very long time ago. One of the things that was always super popular with pet classes, necros, mages, especially because local little gnome mages and necros are everywhere. Enchanters could pull it off as well. Of course, they have to worry even less about pulling ads because they can, by this time they've already got lull, or they might, I've even seen some of them that'll just charm one, beat up his friend, and kind of move on. But I figured, again, like I said, it would be a decent change of pace for us. And so far, we've been able to kind of pull it off one at a time. But while we're sitting and medding, one of the things that it does kind of give me an opportunity to say is, and I've mentioned it in the past, there's no big surprises really on this channel. We're nearly not there for the drama. But I will be stepping away for just a little bit because I'm going in for surgery on Thursday morning to get my knee fixed. It's nothing too spectacular. I got to fix a issue with my patellar tendon and a broken growth plate behind it, where basically I have a bone fragment floating behind the tendon. It's already caused a partial rupture, and it's kind of cutting up the back of the tendon. So it's kind of irritating. I've had to wear an immobilizer brace on the leg pretty constantly. That keeps me from bending and flexing the tendon over the bad spot on the bone and causing more damage to myself. Having gone through all that, the problem that's going to be is once I do the surgery, so I'll be out for a couple of days anyway just because of painkillers. I really don't want to make dumb decisions on this guy on painkillers and sacrifice lives because I'm high. That would not go over well. But at the same time, unfortunately, I will be locked in a full lockout position. I want to say for several weeks. I actually had the same procedure done on my right knee a couple of years ago. So it's most likely going to sideline me for a little bit, and the reason I say that is because even some of my gaming sessions now have been cut short because sitting under the desk with the immobilizer holding my leg out straight, it's not even so much just lifting up or putting something to keep the leg up. It puts a strange kind of pressure on the back of the leg where it sits over the edge of the chair, and it just kind of gets uncomfortable. Now, I've been able to unlock the brace here and there for comfort and let me play a little bit more. But once I have the surgery, I'll be locked in a straight position until my doctor and physical therapist think that I'm in good shape to do this. So let's smack another minotaur with an arrow here. Come hither. Yay, we got the single. So, like I said, just like before, it's in a pretty good spot. We're going to pull him way back around the corner, just like we did with the last guy, because I don't want to deal with the potential of any of his friends. And we're going to smack him with our hammer. And like we thought, he does in fact have one of the Minotaur battle axes with him. So that should net us a few plat right out of the gate. So again, I mean, it's a decent little camp. Like I said, some classes will do it much faster at lower levels, obviously, than we will. But so far, we've been able to kill the front two little guys and have a pretty good time with it. But so a decent little camp, especially if you're a gnome and in the area, it's a good spot to check out. If you're looking to actually get some gnomish faction, you can actually kill these guys as well and pick up a little. And it won't work with all of them, but it will work with some of them to where you won't be KOS with every gnome. So if you're in the area, I want to think about kind of doing that. But I think what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to just kind of sit here. We're going to grind through these guys for a bit. I know that my last video was very uneventful as we were just unable to get a group. We fought a couple of beetles. The most exciting thing on it was actually when we were just leaving the place and found our little magic rat that gave us some stuff, which was again kind of cool. And we'll dig into that and see if we can sell it. But so I'm going to sign off here for a bit. I'm going to stay here probably myself for a while and just kind of grind on these. Hopefully, at least tonight, maybe we can pick up our level or something. But again, it's going to be a little while before I pick back up on the challenge, but have no fear, I'm not giving up on the challenge by any stretch of imagination because I'm still having a very good time playing my little Trapton guy here. We're down to 3 lives. This guy's just going to run all over the place like, come here. So now it's, you know, preserve some lives, still get some experience, and at the same time, yep, there we go. 1 the lax. At the same time, always, of course, the excitement of, you know, what might happen next. We use that last life. And then, of course, what we might end up with next, right? I think that's going to be the fun part of the challenge. So, as always, if you guys like what we're doing here, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below. Also, keep in mind, you know, we're always looking for new adventures. I am remembering the game as I go because, as anybody who's playing it has tell you, it's a far cry from live. So it's been a blast from the past to do this. If anybody thinks of some of these super old camps we might be able to pull off for a good spot for us, let us know down below, and we might check it out. Having said all of that, I hope everybody has a great night, and we will see you guys next time. Night, guys.